What's up, everyone? I'm the Astro Mama. I bring the cosmos down to Earth to ground deep feelers, creatives, and mystics. This week, we have a lot of powerful energy in the cosmos, including two rare CAZIMIs. So if you're ready to learn how to swim with the cosmic current instead of against it, stay tuned for your weekly AstroWeather Forecast for the week of January 5th to the 11th, 2026. Now, CAZIMI translates from Arabic to in the heart of the sun. And when we have a CAZIMI, it's when a planet and the sun are conjunct one another to the exact degree. So one would say that the planet is in the heart of the sun. And this tends to be a pretty magnetic day for whatever theme that planet, which is having a CAZIMI with the sun, resembles. So this week we have a Venus CAZIMI, love, beauty, finances, relationships. And we have a Mars CAZIMI, how we assert our will, our passions, our drive, and our actions. Sorry, my neighbor started mowing his lawn like immediately when I started recording, so I had to close the window. With that being said, this week there will be chances to rekindle old relationships, to bring the spark back to current relationships, to find a lot of love and beauty in your day-to-day life, to find maybe a new workout routine or a new business strategy that feels really aligned for you. And there will also be opportunities to get into fights or arguments, to be aggressive, to say something that you don't really mean by accident, or overspend, overindulge. And so we want to be mindful of extremes this week, and we're going to talk more about what that could look like for you. Welcome to Monday, January 5th. The moon is still in Leo today, and this brings a abundant, fun, flashy energy to the cosmos. And this is a good day to not completely avoid your responsibilities with so much of the cosmos and earth energy right now, but to allow yourself to play and to have joy for what it is that you've been creating. Most of you are deep feelers, creatives, and mystics, and some of you are probably also entrepreneurs. And it's really easy, whether it's on your healing journey or in your personal growth journey or your work with your clients, to go, and keep manifesting towards this goal. And the goalpost keeps moving outward and outward and outward. And we forget to pause, to rest, to reflect, to have some fun. And so today, even if it's going rollerblading outside with your friends or chasing after your little one in the yard, going on a trampoline, some of the new wellness trends like a vibration plate and rebounding on a trampoline are so appealing to me. And let me know in the comments below if you have either, because I'm curious about buying one myself. But what is most appealing to me about these wellness trends and these ways of lymphatic drainage is they're so connected to your inner child. Like, who remembers being a kid and running outside on the trampoline and jumping? Or just imagine like being a kid and seeing a vibration plate and standing on it and getting all wiggly. Like, that would be so fun. So it's interesting how these healing techniques that calm our nervous system or that have been known to reduce cortisol, things like that, are also things that we used to do, some of us, when we were kids, or that we would be drawn to as kids. And it's a good reminder that sometimes in life, it's not becoming a new person as you get older, it's becoming more like who you were as a child. I believe when we were children, we're the closest to source, spirit, universe, God, whatever you believe in spiritually, because we just came from there. And this is backed up by Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. We have these lives, we live them, we integrate the lessons, we move into the next one, and we forget about the past one, because in order to be fully present in this life, we must forget where we just came from. But there's a lot of magic in honoring that childlike joy and innocence that we had when we were little, and remembering that that version of us that wanted to be a ballerina, astronaut, Hannah Montana, is still in us today, and we can honor her, him, them with these little micro moments in our day-to-day life. I do feel like with Jupiter and Cancer, there's a little bit of nostalgia in the air too as well, and also coming out of the Cancer full moon. So maybe it's even just listening to some of your old songs that you loved as a kid or a teenager and weaving that energy into your day in a really simple way. Welcome to Tuesday, January 6th. We have a Venus CAZIMI today at 16 degrees of Capricorn, and this exacts around 8 a.m. Pacific time. This could be a really passionate day for a love affair, dating, for rekindling the spark in your current relationship, maybe adopting or doing a beauty ritual, like getting your nails done, your hair done. Within reason, we don't want to overindulge. This energy could prompt us to overspend or ignore one's responsibilities for the sake of feeling joyful and pleasurable. So we want to find that balance of enjoying, allowing yourself to enjoy the magic of connecting with another being, the magic of creating art in the world, of doing a beauty ritual, and also keep it in check into something that is sustainable. Something my dad always said is, don't trust the person that you meet on the first date. Like, give yourself time, maybe even years of time, before you get to see who that person really is. Because typically when one goes on a first date or a second date or a third date, they put their best foot forward. None of us are perfect, and sometimes we go into dates and we operate at this like 120% level of us. And what can happen is once you enter a relationship with that person, or maybe if you're the one who is showing your best foot forward and you're giving 110%, you will have a time where the mask falls. And what do you do when the things that you did to seduce or attract or connect with that person are no longer plausible? And that's why in relationships, slow burns can be really supportive, because you get to meet somebody, whether it's through friendship or just through spending time dating before you get more serious. You get to see this person in all these different phases and take them off of a pedestal and into, okay, this is who this person is. And I've seen them ugly, I've seen them happy, I've seen them crying, I've seen them sick, I've seen them laughing. I can see what happens when they fail at something. I can see what happens when they succeed at something. So now I get a little bit more of a better taste of who they are. So as we're having this passionate, fiery energy in the cosmos this week with our Venus and Mars Cazimis, I want to empower you to think about that. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, like slowing your roll, because we've all been there. We've all really met somebody and we're like, this is the one. And your friends are like, absolutely not. And you don't want to believe them. And you think that they're just lying. And then surely enough, unfortunately, they reveal themselves to not be. But and I also read somewhere that the messenger always gets killed. So don't shoot the messenger. I'm not the messenger. But I will say that the moon is also going to be in Virgo today, and it enters Virgo around 6 a.m. Pacific time. So very shortly after this CAZIMI, the moon is in Virgo, and the Virgo moon says, slowly roll, focus on your health, focus on your finances, maybe the little mundane tasks of life that we tend to avoid. Get grounded, get rooted, go to the doctors, eat a nutritious breakfast. And so we can weave these two energies together to really find joy and fulfillment and love in your heart. And also think about it, like when those root chakra needs are met, like we were just talking about the Virgo moon, you're able to be so much more present with the person that you're dating or in love with that's in front of you. You can really fully give them all of yourself and be completely open to receiving all of them, because your mind isn't scattered with all these loose ends that need to be tied up more logistically. Welcome to Wednesday, January 7th. Today, Venus is conjunct Mars in Capricorn at 18 degrees. Around 6:43 p.m. Pacific time. My question for you is, what is it that your soul truly yearns for and longs for? The universe, spirit, God, whatever you believe in spiritually, puts the unique desires that you have on your heart on purpose, almost as a GPS or a roadmap for what is possible for your soul's growth in this lifetime. That's why beyond the basic needs of security and shelter and health, belonging, etc., like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, our desires differ from each other. One person might really want to retire early and go live in the forest somewhere or start a ranch in Montana, and another person might want to be a traveling nomad in Peru. One person might never want to have children and get married. One might want to get married and have a lifelong partner but not have children. One might not want either. This is kind of my gripe right now with our current culture is we're getting into this very much like what about meism or my way or the highway vibe where, for example, I'm a stay-at-home mom full-time and I am not shouting on a megaphone that every woman should stay at home because I don't necessarily believe that. I believe that true feminism is empowering women to do whatever the FUCK that we want. And we can see, regardless of who you are and how you identify, you can look and see within that community, there's a lot of you should be more like this, you should be more like this. But the truth is we're all meant to be ourselves and to fulfill the unique desires of our own hearts. So today I want you to get clear on what is it that I really want, okay? And how can I announce it to myself in a way where I'm not scared? Because deep down, we all have that thing that we really, really want, and we're scared to admit it. But if we can't even admit that we want it, and we can't even tell our spiritual being of choice that we want it, how's the universe, spirit, God going to give it to us? How would they be able to support us and meet us there if we are so shy to even admit that we want it? This is something that comes up a lot with my clients in astrology readings. I do natal chart readings, transit readings, and solar return readings. And something that comes up often is when I'm giving somebody a reading, it's a permission slip to be who they really are. And I felt this way when I got my first astrology readings done with astrologers I've worked with. When you have somebody in front of you that's an unbiased party that doesn't even really know you, most likely, who is telling you your unique gifts and your growing edges and maybe highlighting or bringing insights to some of your past experiences or what could be possible for you in the future, it confirms that which is hidden within your heart that maybe you've been afraid to confront that you know deep down is true. And when we get that confirmation from an external point of focus that is holding a mirror up to us, without shame of how you should be or expectation of what you're doing wrong, but just an awareness of, hey, this is you. This is maybe where you've been. I don't know for certain. Have you been here? And also, what do you want to do with this? In astrology, I can hold that for you and I can mirror back to you what's possible. If you're watching this and if you're ready to reclaim your desires, if you're ready to allow yourself to be all who you're meant to be, if you're ready to allow yourself to heal from your past and to unleash the parts of you that you're keeping hidden, you can book a astrology reading with me. The link is in the comments or the show notes below. I'd be so happy to support you through that journey. That was definitely a big part of my journey and my clients. Something I see, some of the patterns I see frequently with astrology is more confidence after getting a reading and who you really are. I see breakthroughs around healing from past experiences. I see excitement and joy and just grounded preparation available for your future. I see people entering relationships with people that feel more aligned for them. I've seen people moving to places that feel more aligned for them, starting businesses or leaving their careers to do something that feels better. Welcome to Thursday, January 8th. The moon enters Libra today around 4:05 p.m. Pacific time, making this a really sweet evening for a date night, a beauty ritual. And again, there's this Venusian energy in the air right now that allows us and inspires us to create beauty in the world. In my opinion, Libra energy creates beauty in the world through two different paths. The first path is the artist. This is maybe more obvious and more commonly referred to when we talk about Libra energy. And this is the energy of creating art, creating beauty, modeling, photography, painting, maybe even relationship coaching or therapy work, being a lover girl, a lover boy, a lover person. And then we have this second pathway that Libra energy creates beauty in the world, and that is through dismantling ugly systems. Libra is the Justice card in tarot. It's through legal systems and activism and speaking up for people who are underserved and fighting for a better world and creating beauty in the world through dismantling systems. I met somebody once that had prominent Libra energy in a reading, and she handmade clothes, and she came from the fashion industry, and she handmade clothes and then sold them and then donated some of her proceeds to nonprofits. Whether tonight is a night that you choose to socialize with your beloved, with friends, those who you hold dear, or maybe the day to focus on your craft and making art, or maybe the day to attend a protest or an organization with your local community. This is a great day to create beauty in the world through those two paths. Welcome to January 9th. We have our Mars Cazimis today. That exacts around 2:31 a.m. Pacific time. This is a pretty passionate day. The higher octave or the light aspects of this would be feeling really motivated, passionate, driven, and energized. And the shadow aspects of this that we might see play out in the collective today are individuals feeling power hungry, aggressive. And when one is on a healing journey, especially if you went from being more passive, people pleaser person, and you're working towards being assertive and direct, it's really easy to swing into being aggressive or sometimes even violent. There's a phrase in psychology and relationships called reactive abuse. And trigger warning for anybody who's gone through domestic violence or relationship abuse. But what can happen when you've been a victim of that is at some point you snap, at some point you break, and one fights back. And the way that you fight back could be really aggressive or harmful, but it's almost self-defense of, okay, at some point, your spirit is thinking this warrior energy of, okay, I need to protect myself. I need to fight back. And the ways that we've been conditioned to do that are usually through the ways that we've received it, or sometimes even trying to one-up that person. And there's no shame if you've been there. Sometimes that is really what you need to do to get out of that situation. It can be really easy once you find your voice to unleash it to everybody in any way possible. And then sometimes we cause harm through doing that. So where is this middle path of, for example, a friend crosses a boundary with you. In the past, you would have just let them walk all over you. Something you could do is totally freak out and, maybe yell at them or say really cruel things to them, or just have an emotional reaction that's could be disproportionate to what's happening. So we got to come to the middle ground of, how do I share my boundary from an empathetic and grounded place? I taught a workshop once on empathetic boundary setting. If you're curious about it, I'm happy to send you the recording. Just send me a message. It was very impactful. And that was one of the biggest takeaways is, how do I, as a peaceful warrior, speak up for myself and what I need in defense, but I'm not allowing myself to shift into this opposite extreme of violence. Sometimes it can bring a very competitive energy. The only person that you're in competition with is yourself. Okay? It's yourself. Because in whatever industry you're in, there are probably millions of people that need the work that you do. For example, I believe that every human on this earth will benefit from working with an astrologer. And guess what? I cannot work with all of them. There's no way. Nobody can work with every single person on this earth. We all have our own energetic capacity and bandwidth to hold space. So it's better for me to have a community of astrologers that I'm a part of, and we can all refer people to one another for our unique niches and for the unique ways that we relay this information. Everybody wins when things are seen as collective, and it can be really easy for whatever it is you're doing to fall into the trap of competition and scarcity and this feeling that there's not enough to go around. So there's a lot of power in knowing that just because I have something doesn't mean that you can never have it, or I'm taking it from you. And just because you have something doesn't mean that I can never have it, or you're taking it from me. With my first business, I made this logo on Canva. It was super bare bones. And I was so excited about it. It's my first business, and I posted it everywhere. My partner at the time had this friend who was a little flirty. And if you know, sometimes that's a little stressful of a situation to be in. But I welcomed her with open arms until I saw that she stole my logo. And I was a little pissed off, obviously. This was the early days of Canva, guys. There wasn't that much you could really do, but there were other options. She didn't have to create literally the same logo that I did. And I felt so full of rage. And it was the first conflict I ever had as a business owner too. So I just I freaked out. Like I literally just freaked out on her. I don't even remember what I said in this phone conversation. I literally blacked out, don't remember. But it left a icky, sticky feeling in my heart around it. And through reacting that way to her, I brought this negative energy into my business that I didn't need to. So what's an assertive and a healthy way to protect what you value? For a business, for example, it's having a trademark, having a patent, and maybe hiring a lawyer to have these conversations in a diplomatic way with copycats. Or maybe it's, letting people copy you and then having some kind of line where if it's plagiarism or slander or in situation of copying your logo, you can take legal action. What that does for you as a business owner, and I'm just using business as an example, you could fill in any area of your life that you're moving through this conflict, fill in the blanks, but it gives you a healthy sense of detachment. Because when we're really attached to a person, an idea, a business, an art project, it's hard to differentiate me, self, from that which I've created or am a part of. And so we take the attack on that which you've created or a part of, or the competition with that, or the slander or whatever rumors from the competitor, and we make it about us and who we are. And we start to create all these stories about how bad I am. And Chiron recently stationed direct in Aries, and a lot of this energy you could be feeling right now is really just detangling, deconditioning the scarcity mindset, but also the attachment to needing external validation and finding that through what you do and who you're connected with instead of who it is at your heart. Because if somebody does copy you, for example, they can't copy you. They can't be you. They can't copy your magnetism, your aura. They can't copy the wisdom that you've learned from life experiences. And they can't copy the creativity that you have that allowed you to create what you created. And this could all also be echoed with Venus opposing Jupiter today as well. Allow yourself to really get clear on what it is you want and don't overdo the process of achieving it. Welcome to Saturday, January 10th, 2026. Today, the Sun and Mars, both in Capricorn, oppose Jupiter, who is currently retrograde in the sign of Cancer. You could be feeling motivated and positive and charged up and ready to go, but it could be really easy to maybe overcommit. And so you find yourself saying yes to things that aren't sustainable. Today's a good day to take a calculated risk. There's a difference between a reckless risk and a calculated risk. A reckless risk is penny stocks or giving away all your money to hire a logo designer. And a calculated risk is maybe finding a logo designer who charges half as much. And it's a little bit of a stretch. Let's say you have $500 in your bank account and the logo designer is $250 and you're like, I don't know. But you have to spend money to make money. In dating, you have to go on dates to find your lover or put yourself out there to find the one. You have to kiss frogs before you find your beloved. Sometimes spending that $250 on the logo designer is going to get you so much further. You'll make $10,000 your first year in business with that logo that they made. Sometimes going on 10 first dates is worth it because the 11th could be your soulmate and they don't know that you exist if you don't put yourself out there in whatever way that you like to date. By the same token, nobody likes people that are cocky. So when you're going into maybe business dealings today or dating, you want to know your worth and be excited about what you're creating, but also not place yourself on a pedestal over those who could be doing things differently than you. I think that a lot of the themes for this week have to do with individuality, and it's really powerful to get really clear on who am I, what do I want, what's my unique vessel or way or multiple methods of putting that out into the world in a way that's constructive and supportive and rejuvenating for myself and other people, and staying in your own lane, honestly, for lack of a better term. because the sun is also opposing Mars today. And with sun opposite Mars, don't fight just to fight. Sometimes when we're addicted to being stressed or we're defensive, or maybe you're hypervigilant because you've been through a lot of stuff and you've had to defend yourself a lot. And what happens when you go through that is you're constantly thinking about how are you going to defend yourself if XYZ situation comes up. But there's a power in learning through the art of war or through the art of conflict when to conserve your energy and simply withdraw. And sometimes just withdrawing from an argument or a conversation, or ignoring a troll on your social media, or ignoring a rude statement by somebody that you meet in person, it speaks for itself. Withdrawing from connections that are draining or stressful, withdrawing from conversations that are aggressive or bigoted, speaks for itself. And sometimes we can say more with our absence than we could ever say with the words that we might choose to use as our weapons. Know when to speak up and know when to simply be a wallflower and collect data. We're ending this week with Sunday, January 11th. Happy 111 portal if that's something that lands and resonates for you. My interpretation of 111 is all about, in numerology, paying attention to your thoughts. Our thoughts create our reality, and allowing yourself to think positively. And when you have a negative thought, explore, is this real or not? And if this is real, what can I do to change the situation in the 3D so I can have a new thought that's more positive? You can also reverse engineer that and think of starting with my thoughts first. How can I create more positive thoughts so that what it is I'm building or attracting in the 3D matches that which I'm projecting out? All this could be prevalent today with the moon entering Scorpio around 2:56 a.m. Pacific time. When the moon is in Scorpio, you might tend to feel more emotional or introspective, and you might just be wanting depth. The moon in Scorpio wants depth and realness and rawness and vulnerability. And Scorpio energy sees beyond BS, sees beyond the mask, and it really asks for authenticity and allowing yourself to ask the questions that one might not want to always know the answer to, but embracing yourself to be brave enough to hold the information on the other end. This is not a time for the next 2.5 days or so to tread lightly. This is a time to plunge into the cenotes of your subconscious and what it is that you're digesting. This could also be a good couple days to channel your intensity in a way that feels restorative and cathartic versus destructive and isolating. Venus in Capricorn is making a square to Chiron and Aries today around 7:47 a.m. Pacific time. This energy could be really heightening some past relationships you might be letting go of right now. Maybe you're doing some healing work around people-pleasing, boundaries, and codependency. It can be really hard when connections fizzle out. It doesn't really matter how long you've been friends with somebody. Sometimes it's the experiences that you had together or even an idea of them. It could be hard to let go. Look at friendships as a dining room table. And let's say there's 7 chairs at the table. Well, for every seat that somebody's there that is draining your energy, is cruel to you, is trying to be in competition with you, gossiping about you, talking down to you, making fun of you, maybe taking advantage of your kindness, could be a spot for somebody who is an equal and wants to pour into you just as much as you pour into them, and is working on themselves and is celebrating you and your wins. And it could be really easy, especially if you've struggled with toxic friendships in the past or codependency, to chase after the toxic one instead of letting them go, letting that connection fizzle out and allowing space for new connections to form in divine timing. So today, I really want to empower you to think about that and do an energy audit maybe. People have bad days. Like, I think sometimes it's really easy to just cut somebody off immediately when they show something that we don't like. People do have bad days, but if there's a rhythm and a pattern where every time you hang out with somebody or you talk to them on the phone, you leave feeling more drained, more isolated, more unseen, think about that and ask yourself, does it really make sense for me to pour into this connection? And you can have multiple styles of connections as well. Not everybody's going to be your best friend, but not everybody needs to be. You can also have acquaintances. You can also have work connections. And this could be a good day to take an audit of your relationships, honestly. Yeah, I think this energy will carry into next week because the sun will be making a square to Chiron tomorrow. So we'll get more into this with next week's forecast. For now, that's a wrap. I'm sending y'all so much love. And if you want to stay connected to the daily forecast for the week, you can follow me on Instagram or YouTube Shorts, where I post those in 3 minutes or less. It's a great way to start your day and just know how you can manage your calendar or your tasks that you can swim with the cosmic current instead of against it. And also, I'm on a mission to make astrology as accessible to everybody in the world, but real astrology, not ChatGPT astrology. And part of that is through my free beginner's guide to astrology ebook. I have it linked below if it's something that's calling to your heart. If you want to learn astrology in a simple way that is also real and not robotic, click the link below to download that. I'd be more than happy to send it to you, and it's a great place to start.